State regulators say they're making sure energy companies are ready for extreme cold weather.
It is all to prevent more massive blackouts like the one we saw in February. More than 100 people died as widespread power failures left millions of Texans in the dark. Jeremy Rogowski joins us live from Northwest Houston to break down what's been done to prepare the state's electric grid.
Well, state officials say energy reform laws have made the Texas power grid, quote, stronger and more reliable than ever. But heading into this winter, our energy expert says there is still cause for concern.
In a repeated read my lips moment, the state's top utility regulator pledged to Texans,
the lights are going to stay on this winter. The lights will stay on. Yes, we can say the lights are going to stay on.
The Public Utility Commission and grid operator ERCOT says reform efforts since the February freeze will enhance grid resiliency. The biggest change, mandatory winterization.
Have they put thermal blankets on the right types of equipment to make sure those thermal blankets keep those facilities warm? Have they appropriately set heat tracing in place so that pipes don't freeze up?
ERCOT says it will inspect some 300 power plants by year's end to ensure compliance. As for violators,
those who have not been proactive will be penalized swiftly and heavily.
In fact, the PUC found 8 power companies in violation Wednesday for not filing winterization reports on time. The agency recommended $7.5 million in fines.
It's really important to have somebody go back and police this. And ERCOT and the Public Utility Commission are making a move in that direction now.
But despite the assurances that the lights will stay on, KHEO 11 energy analyst Ed Hers points to 2 areas of concern. Natural gas facilities do not have to weatherize until next winter at the earliest. And this winter, ERCOT's own forecast shows 3 extreme risk scenarios with high power plant outages and low wind and solar output that would leave grid reserves in the red.
This is ERCOT's own analysis of what could possibly happen, all of which could lead us to a deficit, a shortfall, blackouts.
When questioned about that, PUC chairman called the ERCOT analysis just that, an analysis, not a prediction tool or promise of an outcome. Of course, keeping the lights on hinges in large part on what kind of winter is in store for Texas. Our chief meteorologist, David Paul, is tracking that. David?
And Jeremy, in each individual winter season that comes along, there is no telling exactly how the winter is going to go. Now, if you statistically analyze it over 20, 30 years, you come up with some normals. And since we're heading into a La Nina this year, and a La Nina advisory has been issued, we can look at the statistical over many, many years, the normals of what a La Nina winter means for Texas. And statistically, it means it ought to be warmer. So we're going to have a warm winter, right? Last winter was also a La Nina winter, and because over a short-term period we had this tremendous dip in the jet stream and it allowed that bitter cold air to come out of the Arctic down into Texas, well, we ended up with a big freeze in what should have statistically been a warmer winter. So anything can happen in each individual season. What you've got to do is, no matter what, we could have 10 warm years in a row. You just can't forget. You have to prepare every year as if it's got the possibility of being cold.